All right, welcome back. This is Benjamin Hadfield, Teach Me to Dive. I'm a technical dive instructor here in Idaho and sometimes in Florida as well. And we're being hosted today by Idaho Dive Pirates in Idaho Falls in their lovely pool area. So today we're going to be going through how to set up side mount in simple process steps. Now, as you get ready to do this, my best encouragement, since you're not doing this on a regular basis, is to think your way through it and set your gear up in front of you in such a way so that you can see how it's going to be set up. So step one, get your tanks. Get them all set together and exactly where you want them. We'll take off the dust caps of them so we can see exactly what's going on and how this is supposed to look. So step one, get yourself prepared. Step two is make sure you have all the right tools. What we're going to be doing today, we need a set of Allen wrenches and just a cheap set of channel locks. So those are the tools we need. It's not rocket science for sure. We're also using Nikki's brand new MTXRC setup. Very nice regulator setup, very durable, very much set up for anything that she will ever want to dive and then some. Now we're going to definitely need a few extra pieces though to set this up for side mount. The first one's going to be a nice 84-inch hose. We'll set that right there. The next piece we're going to definitely need is the regulators. So here's regulator number one. We'll put that on the left side. Regulator number two, we'll put that on the right side. And as you might notice, as we're going through this process, we're starting to put things in the dynamic of where they're going to need to go. We're also going to need some short hoses because my wife dives side mount just like I do. So we're going to put one on the left side. We're going to put one on the right side. Now, why two short inflators, you might ask? Because we drive a dry suit as well. So we have one for the inflator and we also have one for the dry suit. And then finally, because we are spoiled divers, we're going to also put pods on these as well. And I have already pre-programmed these up to a computer, so I've marked them as well to make my life easier. This one is her right side. This one is her left side. And I went ahead and marked those just to make it a little easier so that we won't get those confused. Now, is there anything else left in the bag to do? No. But as you might know, the MTXRC comes with this really snazzy bag. Actually, even better, Nikki ordered 2 MTXRCs instead of in the side mount kit, so she got 2 bags. So, and there was things she didn't need as well. The MTXR in side mount setup comes with the 84-inch hose already. It comes with 2 SPGs. We didn't need those as well. It comes with some rigging stuff as well. We didn't need that. So we ended up saving a little bit of money and going with just 2 sets individually that I would have to build. Easy enough. Now, we can choose which side we want to go to first. I'm going to go ahead and set up left side first. Now, the reason I tell you to set up and have your tank ready is because that way you can see which side the pod's going to go on. So this is going to be our short hose. And at some point, we may put a 90-degree on this. And being that my wife is a little shorter than me, this is going to be a sufficient amount of hose. This should be a 30-inch hose. And it is a nice MyFlex as well. But again, we're just going to set this up. We see where this goes. We know that it has the swivel turret. But we also know that we also need to take out the bottom plug for the HP port for her HP. Simple enough. We're just going to find the right size Allen wrench for that. And they should all end up being this exact size, which I believe is an 8, but it could be a 9 or a 10 or a 16 and a half. Who knows? It's all about the same, right? The cheap kit, I think we bought this at Home Depot for about $3. So it's a great thing to have in your Save a Dive kit, and if you don't have one in your Save a Dive kit, you're missing out. So simply enough, we take it off the LP or the HP port plug, and now we're just going to take off the little cap that came with this plug. We are setting this up for a Garmin Mark III. Nikki is extremely excited about moving over to the Garmin Mark III for her gas monitoring. And all we're going to do on this is simply enough, we're going to take it on hand tight, and then I like to do a couple just gentle turns to make sure it's on there correctly and it's got a little bit of pressure. That's all you really need. You do not need to take a wrench to this. In fact, if you take a wrench to it, it's going to be a big problem later on. So just get it good and tight on there. You don't have to be muscle man to get it on there, but just get it on there good enough so that it's not going to come off. As you can see, that's going to fit nicely. Got the nice bend on there. The next thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to take off this nice cap that came with it as well. The MTXRC has a 5th port, which is just absolutely wonderful. And they've got these little caps. We just take that cap off and it exposes a 5th port. Again, we're gonna use our same wrench. We're gonna go ahead and take that LP, low pressure port plug off. Now, one of the things I'd encourage, I set them all together and I put them in a nice little bag, and I keep those extra LP ports covers in a Save a Dive kit with me, just in case I ever need them. At this point, I've never needed them, but the minute they come out of my kit, you know what that means, is they're going to, I'm going to need one for whatever reason. Simple enough. You can certainly use a wrench for this. I just use a set of quick channel locks. I'm not trying to put a ton of pressure on there. I don't need that to be super tight, but tight enough so that it can't be easily taken off. That's all, just a little bit of pressure. That's all we have to do for our left port. Now remember, our left side is going to be our short hose. That's our primary setup in side mount. Easy enough. Now we can just check it. We'll just do a couple quick, I use DIN setups, and if you are using side mount, don't use yoke. You will definitely hate life if you use yoke in side mount. There we go. That one is all completely set up. It has a pod, it has an LP port, and it has a nice second stage. Now, the right side is going to be a little bit more, because remember, on the right side, we need our long-ass 84-inch hose. And being that this is my YouTube channel, I can say ass on my own channel. It is okay. So simple enough, we're going to just take our channel locks again. I'm just going to crank that little bad boy off. And the nice thing is these are actually really nice hoses that comes with it. They're nice brushed aluminum. Maybe it's not brushed aluminum, but it's a nice aluminum setup here. And all we're doing is just, as you might notice, just take it a little bit of crank. It doesn't take much. You don't need a lot of strength to be able to get these things off. And there we go. Wada bing, bada boom. We've taken off our LP hose for that. And now we are ready. And you might notice I've already pre-installed a bolt snap on this for Nikki. On this nice 84-inch MyFlex hose available at your local dive shop. MyFlex being the most popular. They do fray a little bit from time as they grow older, but they're still better than the rubber. Now we're just taking this on it. We're just giving it a little bit of pressure. Doesn't take a ton. You just want to not be able to take it off with your finger. That's all we're trying to do. A little bit of tightness, right? Now I know there's some of you out there saying, oh my goodness, you're to scratch that up. But no. If you are gentle, if you're not trying to be Mr. Muscle Man, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I take the polish off, I take it off with my big muscles. You're not trying to be a muscle guy here. SCUBA is about efficiency, not about pure strength. Now we're just gonna go ahead and put that in the LP port that we took it out. Let's give it a couple quick spins. That's all it takes right there. Take our channel locks again. We're gonna give that just a little bit of pressure. In foot-pounds, it's not going to be much. It's going to be about 15 foot-pounds of pressure. That's about it. It's not a ton, right? Just enough so that I can't take it off. Now, simple enough, as I look at this, I need to realize that the 5th port needs to go in. So, as I set this up and I'm looking at it, again, think your way through these situations. Remember, engage brain, turn mouth off, right? So once we get this in setup position, we now know that the pod is going to go on this side. Take that same Allen wrench we've used for everything else, thankfully. This is the first time ever doing this. One of the things you'll find out if you've wrenched a first stage enough times and put ports in and out, in and out, in and out, they eventually start getting different size port covers. It just happens. It's not fun. Anyway, we're going to take our now right side pre-marked setup. We're going to go ahead and just take that in. Again, you do not need a wrench for a pod. Please don't use a wrench. You're just asking for problems. You're going to break your pod. And these things are like $400 or $500, man. So just take it, and I just give it a couple of quick presses, just enough so that it doesn't come off easily. That's all there is to it. It's not rocket science. Now see, we got this all nice and set up. This is on a rotating turret. It's going to come straight up, and that's going to be the one that's going to come in front of the tank right here, down into the bungees that will eventually set up and put on the tank, and then up across my chest, over my neck, and down my right side. We're almost there. We're in the home stretch of setting up our first setup for side mount, and so you'll know how to do this. This is not my first time setting this up, but it's hopefully not your first either, but if it is, welcome to the Side Mount Club. Anyway, so we're going to take that 5th port off. That's the nice thing about a good set of side mount regulators. Some of our favorite side mount regulators I absolutely love the MTX RC from Apex. Great setup. The MTX RC or MTX R. We also like the XTX 50 from Apex again. Both of those have been really, really durable when it comes to doing cold water diving. Other ones we like. If you're doing warm water, the Aqualung M1 setups for warm water are not a bad setup. They come out of the box setup for 80%. The Hollis 200LX with the DCX first stage, really pretty setup, really looks nice. And another great setup. We've had those in pretty cold water. I've dove them personally down to 31 degrees in the river with moving current. So did really, really well. But I can honestly tell you, I have never had a free flow from an Apex XTX 50 or an MTXR or MTX RC. They are just great, really sturdy regulators. Now, while we were talking there, I went ahead and put that other short hose into the 5th port. So that is all done. Now, I will, at the end of this video, do some close-up photos so that you can see that. But again, we're just going to add just a little bit of pressure on that. We don't want that to be able to come out by the hand, even if we put a little pressure on it. Now, simple enough, we're just going to take that. We're going to go ahead and screw that on just so we can take a look at it. And all we're doing is thinking our way through the situation. Remember, engage brain, closed mouth. And we can see that very easily, pod is going down, 5th port's coming out. We are all good to go. And then all we need to do now is just do a quick test. I'm going to go ahead and screw this all the way on. Make sure that's in good position. We'll just give that a little gas and then a lot of gas. We'll drop the Nakedy's brand new regulator on the ground. That breathes really nicely. Now, we tested it. All we're going to do is just turn that bad boy back off. We will check the pod after a little bit as well, but she hasn't set up her new Garmin Mark III in the 47 millimeter. We'll just take the pressure off that so it'll come off nice and easily. And we're going to set this nice and pretty right here. Remember, side mount is about looking pretty. Just kidding. It is not, but it's about making everything come together in even ways so things don't get tangled together. We're going to go ahead and screw this bad boy on as our last test right here. There we go. It is on. Give it a little gas, just make sure nothing explodes, and then a lot of bit of gas. And it is good to go. I hear no leaks, nothing's coming out. And it breathes really, really nicely. Again, these are the MTX RCs. The difference between the R and the RC is they come with a nice little adjustment valve here so you can adjust it down, as well as a Venturi so you can put it in pre-dive mode or dive mode as well. One of the things I do like about having an adjustment valve on a regulator that I use for cold water is I like to be able to turn it down quite a bit. If I turn it down, I can take a reasonably good cold water regulator and make it a very good cold water regulator because it's letting less gas out. So just a small pro tip if you are one of those guys like me who likes to dive cold. Again, Benjamin Hatfield, Teach Me to Dive, technical dive instructor in Idaho, putting together your first side mount rig.